T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Kush'S Korner here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network, the coolest reptile network in the world. Got a good show for you tonight. I have Dillon Hine of CBC Exotics on the show tonight. We have a lot of stuff to talk about, primarily his recent success breeding Madagascar tree boas, but also, as you can see in the thumbnail, we have Burmese pythons, venomous snakes, Epidor, scrub pythons, lots of stuff to talk about. So I'm excited to get into the episode. But as always, beforehand, USARC. So USARC is the organization that is fighting for our rights to keep our reptiles, to run our reptile businesses, and to pursue this way of life. Check out usarc.org for all of the relevant information you need to know about the organization. And if you are not already, please look into becoming a member of USARC. As a community, we have strength in numbers, and the more people we have behind the cause, the better. And tonight we are brought to you by Juggernaut Reptiles. Elijah Armas, one of the leaders in the blood python and short-tail python game. They're also working with a number of other species, from ball pythons to anacondas, lots of other things. So if any of those pique your interest, please check out Juggernaut Reptiles on all forms of social media. And we are also brought to you tonight by Brian Susan of Sundown Reptiles, one of the leaders in the games of tree boas, rare geckos, green tree pythons, lots of other things. Check out Brian Susan at Sundown Reptiles for some of the highest quality reptiles captive bred in the country. One of my favorite breeders in the industry, and somebody who I really think is setting the standard for how professional breeders should operate in the modern era of the reptile industry. And lastly, we are brought to you by the Reptile Super Show, one of the largest, if not the largest, reptile expo in the country. Their upcoming show is going to be in January of next year in Pomona, California. One of my personal favorite reptile shows. Always a great variety of vendors with a good variety of species throughout the show. Lots of entertaining, fun stuff if you're not just into the standard species of the community, but if you are into that as well, great selection of really everything you could ask for. Check out the Reptile Super Show, their upcoming show in January in Pomona, California. And here we are. It is that time again. Shout out to everybody who is tuned in live right now. If you are here on YouTube, please subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. If you are on the audio versions on either Spotify, Apple Podcast, wherever you get your podcast from, please subscribe on there. Give us a 5-star review, all of that good stuff. There's a new podcast every single night of the week here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network from some of the best hosts in the industry. So there's never a shortage of top-tier reptile content for you. But with all that said, let's get Dillon on the show. How's it going, man?
So, just hanging out. Got done cleaning snakes, eating, doing this the rest of the night. And then, yeah.
Hell yeah. Well, dude, I really appreciate your time tonight. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. The Sanzinia, really, I mean, all the different species you're working with. But before we get into all that, how would just give us a little bit of a rundown of your history in reptiles, kind of what got you into everything, and how did you get to this today?
Right on. Yeah. Well, I mean, as for what got me into them, I'm not really sure. I always just had an infatuation with snakes in particular, but anything really cold-blooded and weird like sharks, bats, anything. Snakes are just my favorite. My mom was always real supportive with that kind of stuff. Got me my first snake when I was 6. Black. Still have him. He's just a ball python. Normal ball python. Cool. Back in the day, though, when pies were like $20K. But I started breeding mid to late teens. Took a little break for a while, and then 18 happened. I hit the ground running. Started off mainly boas, Brazilian rainbows, stuff like that. But as time progressed, I kind of wanted to focus more on obscure species and just stuff that I really like. But that still didn't slim it down much. I still work with everything, man. Sometimes it's hard to focus on everything, but I have a lot of species here that I really, really enjoy. Sabus, Loma pythons, olive pythons, scrub pythons, anacondas, berms, a whole slew of venomous stuff. We'll get into that later.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to forget a lot of stuff because that's how I am on the spot. I'm not good on camera. But yeah, I've been breeding for a long time, but really started taking it seriously in my early 20s. So like 10, 11 years ago. And yeah, still not doing it full time. You know, we're trying to buy a farm, so a steady paycheck helps with that. But
for sure.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I've always just loved this stuff. And one day when I was a kid, I met Brad McCarthy. He really like showed me that you could do something with snakes. It's not just some weird obsession. You're not the weird kid at school. But yeah, and here we are now. I don't know. I have like probably between 400 and 500 animals, and it's a full-time job. Got to the point where I had to get an employee. Shout out to Toby. You're a good kid, just annoying as hell. But yeah. He's a good kid. I've known him since he was like 8, and he always wanted to come, you know, play with stuff and work for me and all this stuff. And then he moved to New Jersey for a while to work for another. Well, he's not a breeder; he's a importer. But he was working for him for a while. Came back home, started working for me and Brad, and yeah, he's a great kid. I couldn't do all this without him anymore. Not and keep a job, hold the family down, and do snakes. Without him, it wouldn't be possible.
Yeah, I mean, without a helper, I mean, to me that sounds like you might not ever sleep. Maybe like 2 hours a night at that.
Oh, I don't sleep anyway. That's not my. That's never been a strong suit. I've always been a night body. I'm not a morning person. I prefer to stay up late and kind of. I don't know. If I wake up without an alarm, it's like anywhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. But work doesn't allow that. But I can go to sleep at 3, 4 o'clock, still wake up at 8.
Yeah, well, I mean, you picked the right industry for that kind of sleep schedule. You know that. Definitely works well with reptiles.
Yeah. Yes. And they're all nocturnal too, so I like to be down here and check them out and all that stuff.
You know? Yeah, that's what's nice for me. I mean, for about 5 years, I lived away from my animals, and now I'm in a house with all of them, and I've been at it for a year now, and it's so much better. Like during breeding season, I'd wake up at like 3 a.m. randomly, and I'm like, let's go see who's locked up and downstairs.
Absolutely, yeah. No, if I get bored, I can't sleep. I come down here, and I like to do flashlight checks, especially on like the arboreal venomous stuff because they're all in bios, and that's what they're doing their thing. But yeah, I'll come down here with a flashlight, check all the squams, all the different trimerosaurs, stuff like that. But it's a good thing to have around if you're a nighthawk, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But I couldn't imagine not having my animals in my house. I have a lot of people ask me why I don't get like a warehouse or rent somewhere to keep everything. But I just like being able to come down, you need something to take your mind off stuff. Snakes do that well for me. It's a good little escape. But I would like to have buildings.
I feel like that's the compromise, like a building 20 feet from your back door. Even
if there's like a little breezeway to it, I'd be happy. But as long as it's on my property, I'm happy. I just couldn't imagine not having my animals on my property.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Because there definitely is a peace of mind you get from like having somewhere to go where you're not like encumbered by animals at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. But then if there's that pair you want to check, or like, oh, I fed that snake yesterday and I forgot to check it today, or temperature sensor goes down or something like that. Yeah. Even if you have like sensors in your building or your incubators or your cages, there's still that amount of time you need to take to get there. I don't take issues in the animal world well. Like, if something's going wrong with the animal, I want to handle it now than there. It's just so much easier to have them here. Yeah. But absolutely. They take up about half my house. I bought my house for the finished basement, and it's all for snakes. That's nice. I mean, there are very few basements in the entire state of Texas, and PA is full of them. I sure wish there was. Yeah, the house is about. I would give it a good 70 to 80% full of reptiles. So
that I lived like that my entire life. Apartments, And nobody would ever rent to me because the animals I have. So it was always like renting from friends of friends or from friends, that kind of thing, until we bought a house. But yeah, renting when you know, be like, oh, what kind of pets you have? Oh, I have a dog, a cat, and cobras and big snakes and all this stuff. And they're like, well, see ya. But honestly, I feel like a basement up here really helps, like with breeding season, like just natural fluctuations in temperature, stuff like that. I've had animals in like, you know, second story spare rooms, stuff down in the basement. I feel like being in a basement or even partially underground, because the way I have it now, it's only pretty much like underground, but I have a main wall that leads out to my driveway and like a man door and all that stuff. But everything else is encased by earth. But I feel like that really helps with just getting everything into breeding mode and dropping temps and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like especially up north, it just gives you that kind of like that kind of insurance policy of like when the big freezes come by. Yeah. When I was, because I grew up in Chicago, and the coldest snap we ever had there was like -50 for like a day.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, nope.
And my animals were in the basement, and I was like, I couldn't sleep. I was panicking, but like, everything was all right.
I know the feeling. That's the first thing we did here is buy a generator, just in case anything, you know. And luckily we did, because I've never had more outages than living in this house than I have anywhere else. But that was always my like nightmare, is, you know, especially like eggs in the incubator or gravid females or anything like that. Power going out alone is bad, but when you have situations like that, it's stressful. So yeah, we have a generator now just in case.
Yeah, that's what you need to do. Not enough people do that. You know, I feel like that's one of the biggest overlooked aspects of
worth it. It's worth it. Even if I don't know, even if you don't do all this, I feel like it's still worth it, just for like peace of mind.
Yeah, that is most definitely true.
Yeah.
Well, to take it back a little bit, from when you were young getting into reptiles, was breeding always something that was on your mind, or was it just kind of like, I'm fascinated and then just kind of taking one step at a time?
No, breeding wasn't really a focus when I was young. Really, it was just snakes. I love snakes. I love being outside, flipping rocks, looking for snakes, catching snakes, bringing snakes home, trying to let my mom let me keep them. But really, breeding kind of like crossed my mind. I don't know, probably when I was like 11 or 12, when I really started to think about what I wanted to do, and wanted more snakes, but wanted to justify at least keeping a larger collection, or convincing my mother to let me keep more, at least. But never really got into it till, you know, hardcore until early 20s. But meeting Brad McCarthy really probably pushed me in the direction that snake breeding was a real possibility. And yeah, that really led me in that direction. It just snowballed.
Was he like one of your main mentors when you were younger?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And anybody, you know, back in the day, give or take, if you love him or hate him, everybody knows Brad's name if you've been around long enough. He's rough around our edges, but he's like the sweetest guy in the world when he loves you. He'll do anything for you. But yeah, he's got some stories, and he's a little dirty sometimes, and that rubs people the wrong way. But he's a fun time.
If you want to buy a snake from somebody with a life-size cutout of Trump behind their table, he's your guy.
Dude, you won't believe how many states and shows and just trips that thing was on. And then he got one with Trump and Melania, and I don't know.
My God.
Every show he had a Trump shirt on, you know. But yeah, no. A lot of people didn't like that either, but a lot of people loved it too. He said he got more business ever wearing that stuff and bringing Trump along for the ride, so he kept doing it.
I bet, especially, you know, go to certain shows. Maybe if you go to some New York shows, it might not work out so well, but PA shows and what.
Yeah, around here it works well. You know, even in like the bigger cities like Pittsburgh, and where you have a large influence in Hamburg from like Philly and Jersey and New York and stuff like that. But yeah, no, Brad's just the kind of guy that doesn't give a damn, you know. He's like me. You know, a lot of people think I'm an asshole, but you know, some people love me, but take it or leave it. It's what it is.
Yeah, hey, there's definitely something to be said for being that way. I feel like sometimes I could benefit from being more that way.
I don't know, man. Just
Yeah.
can't let it bother you, you know?
No, that is true. So
Yeah.
when you were younger, what were like the first few species that really grabbed your attention of like, all right, this is something I want to work with and want to like progress as far as projects go?
Cobras, anacondas, blood pythons, boas, really anything out of Australia that really caught my eye. Brazilian rainbow boas. So yeah, I don't know. I was always like reading books, going to the library, pulling out snake books, and then reading as much as you can. Want to learn as much as you can, finding new species. But like the first snake that really drew my eye, and when my mom asked me what kind of snake I wanted as a pet when I got my first one, it was a blood python. And
Okay.
this was like 98. I'm 32, so I was 6 years old. That was 98. Blood pythons back then were pretty much all imports and chainsaws, so that didn't happen. And she didn't like the idea of a bow getting bigger, so I got a ball python. But bloods are definitely what like drew me in like originally. My first infatuation, well, I'd take that back. Anaconda, because of the movie Anaconda. That movie made me want anacondas immediately when I saw it when I was a kid. And but like the first snake, flipping through a book, you know, non-venomous kind of stuff that I actually thought I could own, because I never dreamed that I would have the kind of animals I have now. Not in a million years. I never thought I would turn into all this. But blood pythons definitely.
Okay. And so, what were like the founding animals you got to kind of start your project off with blood pythons?
Nick Bottini really helped me in that. When I wanted to start breeding blood pythons, originally I just wanted high red normal, you know, blood pythons, because that's what drew me to them. So that's where I started. And then when I got into the idea of, originally I just got bloods because I wanted them. I didn't plan on breeding them. And then I saw some of the crazy stuff that was coming out, like T-positive ivories and golden eyes and that kind of stuff. So originally I bought into like the Matrix Het T-positive stuff, anything Batik. But Nick Tracy at the time, what was his name? Henry McCool. He got in and out real quick, but he bought like crazy high-end animals, and then he just got it out of the hobby out of nowhere. So everything went up for sale. I bought a handful of those animals.
Not bad.
But yeah, kind of all over the place. But T-positive ivory, the first one I saw, like really is like, I need to make that. It's gonna happen. And at that point, I could have bought them by the time I was making them. But I get like that. If I'm set out that I want to achieve something, I'm not going to buy that morph or gene or anything, you know, until I make it. If I want to make it, I'm going to make it. I'd rather make it than buy it. And that was one of those. So it took me a while. But I think that was only like my second clutch of blood pythons, honestly, that I produced T-positive ivories.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The first one was just messing around, you know. I didn't have many at that point. I just had a really nice T-positive Matrix male, and Brad had a nice T-positive. He sent her down to me. He's like, oh, you know, give it a shot. And that was my first clutch. It was that was
nice.
2014? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 2014. Yeah. And then I don't remember if I hit him the next year, but it was either 2015 or 2016 that I produced T-positive ivories. So.
Okay. Cool. How much of your collection right now consists of blood pythons in your projects?
Not as much as it used to, just because the collection has grown so much.
Sure.
But I don't know. Between bloods and short tails, because I really slimmed down some bloods to focus on what I really was aiming for when I got the animals. You know, I really cherry picked animals from people, made what I wanted with an end game and goal. You know. And that most of my animals now are just stuff that I either bought from people that I really liked and I had to have, or stuff that I produced and raised up.
Okay. Cool.
Adult blood-wise, probably like 20, 25 at this point, and then maybe another, like, I don't know, 12 or 15 I'm raising up. But I also have like a couple pairs of really nice and Marshall short tails, and as sad as I am to say it, I have a couple pair of Borneos still too.
Okay.
I don't know. Elijah, who, you know, was just on there, he'll get down with me on that. I don't know, brown snakes, but they're in the short tail complex, and there are some really cool Borneos out there, so I have some, but they're just not blood pythons.
Yeah, hey, fair enough. But and I think, lucky enough, there's enough people that are working with Borneos to where, you probably don't need to feel obligated to be doing that.
No. There's plenty of people out there doing it to keep them around, and so people don't need to import. And and there are some really cool Borneos out there. Matt's probably like King Borneo at this point since Keith stepped down. But yeah, Keith was another big influence for me growing up. Keith McPeak, I love Keith.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, good people. Sweetest guy too. He's just a lot, more presentable than Brad to the public.
Oh, it's funny. Yeah,
Keith, you can take anywhere, and he's like, a sweet guy. And Brad will be like, ah.
Yeah, I haven't met Keith, but that definitely is the impression that I get from him.
Oh, dude, he's the best. Absolutely, he's one of the people that not a lot of people want to tell you how to breed Sanzinia or give you points or tips or anything.
Yeah,
Keith and Paul Mitzelfeld are like the two people that really pointed me in the right direction and made it possible for me to breed them. Yeah.
Well, on the note of Sanzinia, let's get into all of this.
No, dude, made my year. Absolutely.
Hell yeah. So just kind of, where did that start? Where did you get the idea of keeping Sanzinia, and then where did you get your animals from?
Well, I saw my first Sanzinia at in a book. I don't remember what book, but and then I saw some at the Palace Inn when I was a kid. The Pittsburgh Reptile Show used to be at the Palace Inn. It's not anymore, but that really, I was like, "What is that? Never seen that before." That's a really cool snake. But at the time, they weren't really popular when they were being imported and stuff. Some people were, some people weren't. Never really thought about having them or keeping them at that point. And then as I got older, I started to want to keep more challenging obscure species.
Sure.
But it took me forever to find them. They weren't, they're still not really common. Not a lot of people doing stuff with them, producing them. But I didn't really set out to breed them probably till, I started producing other things like woolman pythons, just to see that I could breed stuff that wasn't ball pythons.
Sure.
And boas and stuff and bloods, because relatively those aren't challenging species to breed.
Mm-hmm.
But once I hit a few other stuff, that's when I was like, maybe I should get some Sanzinia and give it a go if I could find them. And it took me like 7-8 years to really find a group, and anybody that would sell them to me, I'd look for them, and by the time I got a hold of somebody, they'd be gone, or they were just impossible to find. But
Yeah, I mean I used to have some Sanzinia, and it really it was crazy. Like they weren't available ever, and I feel like at least in the time that I was looking for them, like 2020, 2021, there were some, and then they kind of disappeared again after that. There were a few litters at the ground.
Well, that's the thing. They didn't have a huge popularity. They were in the late 90s, early 2000s when they were bringing them in. So not a lot of people were producing them. And then Madagascar shut down. I don't even remember when Madagascar shut down. But when they were bringing them in, they weren't huge sellers, so nobody was producing them or focusing on it. And then Madagascar shut down, and there really weren't any out there. And then there was a few people who got into it. But, yeah, they're still not a super commonly kept or bred species at this point, even though, I mean, they are more challenging to breed. But, you think that would kind of entice people to want to breed them some more. There are so many people that are chasing that bowling stream right now.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a good point, and especially like these days. I mean, greens are almost not heard of, really.
Oh, dude, tell me about it. that's like my what I'm hunting now. This year it was Manx. Excuse me. And I want greens real bad. Got the mags, picking those up next weekend.
Hell yeah.
But dude, I'm waiting on people to sell me greens. I want greens so bad, and I guess they weren't as sought after, in the early days as the reds were, as the mandarins, which what mine are. Yeah. But at least that's what a lot of old timers tell me.
Interesting.
But yeah, now I think it's cool. Green snakes are cool. There's not a lot of really, especially their like hue and shade. I don't know. There's not a lot to really look at, but like Bill has nice ones. Keith, obviously, Elijah. I think Matt has one.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty sure Matt. And Paul. But yeah, no, dude, they're so variable and so nice, and just, I mean, if you put them on a mossy stick, they blend in. It's a cool ass snake.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want them so bad. I want them so bad.
They're badass. So, how big are your adult westerns?
Really not all that big. I mean, relatively for, I don't know. Most people might say they're big, but between like 5, 6 foot, really.
Oh, really? Okay.
My male's probably only like 5 foot. The one female may be pushing like 6.5.
Okay.
But they're not really that big. I don't know. I haven't seen many that much bigger than that anyway.
I saw one male. Actually, I don't know if it's a male or female, but one that man, this thing had to be 8 feet long.
Really?
It was fucking massive. I mean, its
I would
head.
love to see that.
Its head was like my fist. I was looking at this thing in a display case. It was a tinley. I'm like, what the fuck did you feed this thing? And it was, a friend of mine had it. It was like a ball python and boa breeder. And he was just like, yeah, I mean, I had it, and I just kind of, I'm not doing the project anymore. But I'm like,
well, that's dude. People overfeed so much shit. There's so many fast snakes out there. Like Brad says he can't breed boas. It's just he overfeeds boas. If fat snakes don't breed, you know. But yeah, I've never seen a Sanzinia that big. Honestly, that makes me curious. I'm gonna have to like rope them and figure that out, and I'll let you know at some point. But
all right,
I'm not thinking much over 6.5 foot.
Yeah, that's pretty. I mean, it's pretty reasonably sized. So first of all, I mean, how big was your litter that you ended up getting?
From what I heard, it was larger. So I had 11 healthy babies. One of those being like a runt that just didn't fare well. I called that from the get-go. And then there was two slugs and one still. So overall, there was 14 ova in the litter. Most I hear from people are like 6 to 8.
Wow,
like litter size, yeah. But I have heard as high as like low 20s, high teens. But from average, what I hear from people is like 6 to maybe 9 babies, but generally 6 to 8 is pretty common. So I was really happy with the litter, especially with like 10 just solid, 7 out of the 11 original babies, 8 within 48 hours of being born. I don't know if you know much about like doom rules, Sanzinia, that kind of stuff. They shed like squams do right out of mom.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
Yeah, it was weird. I didn't expect that either. I've never bred like doom rules or MGBs or Sanzinia prior to that point, obviously. But as I was pulling them out, there were skins, and some of them were sloughing right there.
That's crazy.
But yeah, that was a cool experience for a boa. Usually boas, take 7 to 14 days really for that first shed. So I didn't expect that.
I wouldn't have either. Honestly, I would have almost thought it would have been the other side of the spectrum where they take a long time.
Blood pythons. Blood pythons take. I've had blood pythons shed in 2-3 months. I've had blood pythons not have their first shed for 6 to 8 months. So like, a lot of species be like, people wait for the first shed to try and feed them. Blood pythons are dead. They need to eat like, I usually give them like 2 to 3 weeks to really settle down, deep moss, then I'll offer food. Generally, they take well at that point, absorb all the yolk. But yeah, no, dude, these things came out like rarer to go. Besides the breeding aspect of them, they're like the easiest snakes. They're easy to keep. They're easy to establish. They're just hard to breed.
Okay. Yeah, that's crazy about the shedding. I had no idea. Like scrub pythons, I feel like average time is like 2 to 3 months for the first shed.
Yeah. That's like bloods, man. But not these little bastards.
I had one go 6 months in 22.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
My first pixel blood I ever took was like 8-9 months before it shed. I thought it was never going to shed, and it ate good. It was a slow starter. It didn't eat its first meal probably till it was like, I don't know, 6, maybe 7 weeks. But it was starting to get to the point I was concerned, and then it took a hopper, like a live hopper. But yeah, dude, that snake didn't shed till at least 7-8 months.
So crazy.
Yeah.
I can imagine. That anticipation must just be brutal.
Especially bloods, because like bloods get better every shed. You really don't start to see like the hard color set in till like a year old, but they get better every time they shed.
Yeah, it's crazy. But yeah, back to what you said about Sanzinia being historically difficult to breed. That's why it's so significant. How did you do it? What was the process like?
I mean, I left them together a lot longer, like in periods than I would most snakes. And I wasn't feeding obviously because it was cold. That I got them down as low as 53. I temp down to one spot
Wow.
one time a year, but I have pictures going back like 55 to 57, just because I wanted to log as much as I could. I have a little pad that I was writing stuff down on. I keep like like little note cards or something on a cage when I see locks or when I pair, when I get a shed, that kind of thing. So I was doing all that with them, but I was also keeping a log of temperatures that I would take on readings on them. But really, I would leave them together for like 3 to 4 weeks at a time, and I would give them a week or two off. I started pairing. Didn't really start to chill down in there till I was going to say like late November, early December of last year. I thought it was getting low enough that it wouldn't just be a waste to throw the male in there.
Sure.
Because that was one thing that Keith and Paul stressed was don't even bother pairing, even if they're showing interest, until you start to get a good cool down on the animals themselves, because you'll just waste any viable sperm from a male, or he won't be potent enough by himself at that point. But yeah, really bringing them down, and I feel like photo period may have had a hand in it. Because there was a point in time I think they were only getting like 7 to 8 hours a day light. Just because I try to do that as well, because blood pythons, I feel as well, photo period has a part in their breeding cycle. So I try to implement that with most of my room. Come wintertime, I try to wrap it up down here a little earlier, so I can just completely black out the room. Lights, most are on timers in cages, that kind of stuff anyway. Yeah. But I like to even have the overheads off by a certain time come winter. Just to try to keep photo period as short as possible, to keep, at least mimic natural photo period as much as I can.
Sure.
But so, yeah, I feel dropping them down as low as I did, like I said, low 50s. And that was mostly done naturally because my basement's all finished and heated and all that. But where I hibernate all my colubrids at and drop down my Gilas and the Epidor, stuff like that, need to get that heavy cooling, isn't quite as insulated. And it's also connected to an old well room that's in my house. So I'll open the door to there and it's not insulated at all. So just cool air will come in there. So I let most of that go naturally. I didn't really raise it up much until started to bump it up a little, probably mid-February. I'd have to look back, but I'm going to say that's a slow, gradual incline of temperatures at that point. But yeah, I feel like the photo period helped definitely drop in temps, because I did try to breed them the year prior to this, but I didn't really put a heavy stress on the cooling. I also didn't see any breeding activity. The male that I had here was on loan from a buddy because I didn't feel my male was quite ready for my females at that point. Because right now I only have 1.4 adults. I'm holding on to a couple males to breed for my unrelated females because they're so hard to find. And when I actually have money I want to spend, I can't find them. And when I do find one, it goes quick. And I finally is like, okay, I better do it. It's gone. So I also heard from friends that having a backup male or multiple males may not be a bad idea either, because Paul and Keith have both told me sometimes they just had a male that wouldn't show interest in this certain female at all. And then they would try a different male with that female and they'd lock right up. So I feel like compatibility may be a thing. I've heard the same thing with like anaconda and stuff like that. I don't know the truth behind that with them. I haven't tried yet, but drop them down real low, get a good 2.5, 3 month cool down. And I didn't start pairing until I really got into the low 60s, mid 60s. And then I would toss the male in there. But longer pairing times than I would most stuff. Generally I do 4 or 5 day pairing, and then I'll pull a male out and feed stuff. Give them a break, pair back up. But I did not do that with these. I just left them in there, try to see what would go, what kind of activity I saw. I really just kind of test waters on my end, and implement tips that Keith and Paul gave me. Yeah, drop them down real low. And I do believe manipulating the photo period as a part of it. Personally, I don't know. Nobody told me that. I just feel like it might have helped because I did do that in that first cycle. The light's pretty settling.
I mean, shoot, it couldn't hurt, especially if they're experiencing that temperature fluctuation as well.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
pretty standard.
Seasons anywhere you go, generally winter is shorter. That's
Yeah,
the whole reasoning behind cooler temperatures. You're further
yeah,
away from the sun, and you don't get as much exposure. So I don't know. I feel like it can't hurt. I know a lot of people don't do it,
yeah.
but why not? It doesn't hurt. If you can do it, do it.
So when you were dropping into the 60s, was that like an overnight low or like a constant temperature?
Uh, More so an overnight. I mean, come early winter, but there was a point, even like I said, 53 was the lowest I documented
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cage getting. Um, I always gave him a hotspot, but I only had it set to like 80, and I also had that set to a timer. At night, they
Okay,
had no hotspot whatsoever. Um,
okay.
so no hotspot at night. Whatever the ambience were in the room at that night, that's what they're at. And I mean, you would even see sometimes when you're sliding the door open, they'd come up like almost thinking it's food. So they want to eat when it's that cold. I was really getting nervous with how cold it was, just because I've never let any snakes get that low. Even stuff I'm hibernating.
Yeah,
If it gets 55, I'm happy. We keep it there. But like 53 for subtropical species, you do that with any other boa. It's um, not Madagascar stuff, but like you do that with a common boa, I don't think it's going to live. Um,
yeah,
at least for that extended period of time, like I did
yeah.
with those. There was, I don't know, I'm going to say a month, just really shot in the dark. But that the ambience there definitely didn't go past 60.
Wow.
So even there wasn't any real height beyond that point, because
Okay.
I did provide supplemental heat if I felt it was getting too cold, because I do monitor all that. I have I don't remember what it's called, but it's a little monitor I have hanging in there that is Bluetooth and connects to my Bluetooth at home. It sends, if it gets below a temperature, it'll send a signal to my phone. Above temperature, send a signal to my phone. I have it in my
Yeah.
incubators too. But it didn't get above 60 for sure in there for probably about a month. So
Wow. Did
yeah,
you? Is that when you started pairing when they got really really cold?
yeah. I started pairing, like I said, probably late November, early
Okay.
December,
So a month before
because
maybe.
maybe a little later than that, maybe mid to late um, December,
Okay.
because I generally put the Gilas down the day after Thanksgiving, and I know I didn't pair them until after I put the Gilas together,
Okay.
or put the Gilas down, not together.
Okay. Yeah. So
But yeah, I waited till it was more of a definitely chillier before I paired them.
okay.
That, like I said, that was one thing that was stressed to me, is don't waste the male if your temps aren't getting where you need them to be.
Yeah. Makes
But
sense.
yeah, the year prior, when I was taking temps and monitoring, I don't think I saw anything get much lower than 61. I thought that would do it, because I did get excited. The female did go dark, which they do, I guess, when they're gravid. They go like hormonal dark, like some green tree pythons and stuff will. And she did go dark, so I was real excited. Even if she got slugs, I was going to be happy, just because I know something's working. At least
Yeah.
the cycles started somewhere, but I didn't even get that. But yeah, so I really wanted to make sure they were cooler before I tossed the male in there.
Okay.
Especially only having one male, I didn't want to stress him out more than I needed to, and I didn't have anything to back him up with.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, especially if you're working with just one. That's
Yeah,
precious
that's all I
time.
could get. That's all I could find, man.
Yeah. I remember those days. Yeah. They're especially an older animal. At best you'll find a baby, and now you're waiting at least a few years, to raise that.
He was a holdback of Paul's, so he's not like super
Okay.
old. A little bit of stress isn't going to kill him. But yeah, an older animal, an older breeder male, yeah, you definitely don't want to put any unnecessary stress on. But
Definitely.
I don't know. I didn't want to lose my only male when I couldn't find any other ones. I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to lose a snake anyway. Period. I don't like when things
For
die.
sure.
Snakes, dogs, anything. But yeah, no. Having one male when you got 4 females is really frustrating. And I don't want to cycle them. Like ball python people will be like, oh, he can breed 10 females in a year. I don't do that. 1 or 2, maybe. But yeah, my only male, I'm just sticking to one female. And like I said, I really wanted to track what was going on. So if I only have one pair to pay attention to, it's a lot easier to keep a log on and pay attention to.
Especially with a species that you're not even like fully sure of exactly what you want to do with it yet. You know, would you rather have like a 15% chance with 4 females or like a 60% chance with that one female?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Let them focus on her. You know, especially like, I don't know how long they would retain sperm. It's not any kind of information I've looked up or read or heard anybody say, because I know some species, I've had blood pythons not paired for 3 months, ovulate, do that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to make sure he was getting his job done, she was getting her job done.
Sure.
Just 1.1, that's all I was worried about.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, it worked out. You know, the proof is
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
result.
dude. I don't know. I was super excited hatching Gilas, but like I already mentioned, I'm not a morning person. I hate mornings. If the sun's not up, leave me alone. And it was like 5 o'clock in the morning. My wife's getting ready for work, getting our daughter ready to go to daycare. And she comes running in the room, wakes me up, says, your Sanzinia had babies. And I sat up like I was like dead to the world. And immediately up, wide-eyed, ran downstairs. And I'm just digging through goo, dude, like almost crying. I was so like, I'm not super proud of myself all the time, but like that definitely did it, dude. That one I was patting my own back just because, it was a big goal for me. Hatching Gilas was a big goal. Sanzinia was a big goal. And yeah, now Apos are like my real goal. And all of pythons. I really want to breed all of pythons too.
Oh yeah,
Epidor is my next big goal. If I get the Apos to go, I'm buying Bolins.
Fuck yeah. Well, we will definitely, we'll get into that a little bit later on, but I want to stick on the Sanzinia.
Yeah. No, sorry. I like the traits off.
Dude, you're good. That's what that's what I'm all about. I love when the conversation just weaves and finds places.
ADHD at its finest.
Fuck yeah. So since you got the cycling and the temperatures more on point, was that male like ready to go right away upon introduction? Did you see stuff like immediately out of them?
Yeah, actually I did. Within the first not the first day, but probably the second or third day, I saw spurring. And then, came down later that night after lights were out, like you said, come down 3 o'clock in the morning checking on stuff. And then they were locked after that. So, yeah, within days this past season, I saw breeding activity. Like I said, last year, I saw nothing. Even with the cool down, like I said, I didn't get nearly as low as I did this past season as I did my first attempt.
Okay.
But, within at that point, with them being that low, I was 2 to 3 days. I saw my first lock, and
nice.
I saw lots of locks, and they breed real cool too. They like corkscrew the female, like rainbow boas will, and all that stuff. So yeah, it's they're the most non-arboreal, semi-arboreal boa in the world.
Right.
They just hang out on the floor. The babies, even I give all the babies perches in their setups, and they just perch on their water bowl, and they're stupid. But they're super cute, and I love them, and so it's okay. But, dude, yeah, for a tree boa, they're not very tree boa.
Yeah, they really are more like the Madagascar dwarf ground boa.
Yeah, dude, for real. Yeah, that's what it's ironic because that's the same shit I say. They're not arboreal at all, especially with the adults. The adults don't do shit. The most I see, all the adults have a big piece of cork ground in there for like a perch and a hide, and that's the most I see in there. They have perches in there. Branches, all that stuff. I'll see them like posted up on a cork ground. That's it. And then other than that, under the cork ground. And they're the weirdest snakes. You feed them, and then they go to the cold side. Doesn't make sense. It's ass backwards.
Yep. Yeah, they're definitely strange. I can't get over how they move and how like they don't grip you, kind of like a dry marcon. Like they just kind of like try to glide on you. Weird snakes. Like this is not
their head, dude. Such
not
a
unique,
boy, like bulldog head.
Yeah, dude, they're such cool snakes. So how many copulations did you witness out of your pair?
I would have to refer to the no card, but
enough where you need
probably
to, though.
six or seven. Yeah, over the time that I had them paired. And like I said, I probably started pairing, like, put the Gilas down after Thanksgiving. I probably paired them, like, I don't know, 10 days, 2 weeks after that. And
Okay.
like I said, within 2 to 3 days, I saw something. Within that period, before the real warm up, I started to bring temps up slowly, like late
Okay.
February probably. So about a 3-month period. Yeah, probably good 6 or 7 good locks.
And
I know anyone I have, I could look at my phone, but that would take a lot. I'd take way too many pictures because anytime I saw a lock, if I didn't have my phone on me with them, I'd run upstairs and grab it. Like, yeah,
Sure.
do it. Just excited, and I know there's a good bit of lock pictures on there with them.
Yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, but I mean, that's if it's enough locks to where you need to check your notes to know how many it is.
Yeah. It was more than I really look for. That what I would consider a successful pairing. So yeah. I was really hoping good stuff, dude. And then she swelled up, went hormonal dark. And, I was talking to Paul, and I was like, hey, man, I'm excited. It's like, she's getting big. He was like, he's like, sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. He's like, some of the biggest girls I ever had slugged out. I was like, don't say that, fucker. But, yeah, dude, I've never, paced in front of a cage so much in my life. Incubator, different story. Waiting for Gila's hatch is stressful. That shit sucks. But I didn't even know if she was going to do anything. Like, I knew she was going to do something, whether it be slugs or healthy babies.
Sure.
But so I busted out my ultrasound, and I saw a couple spinal spirals in there and a heartbeat here and there. So I knew something was going on, Rel. But I didn't catch an ovulation, and I didn't even write down a shed date. I don't know why. But that is one cage I will have my employee clean. And I tell him to write down sheds when they're in there. Sometimes he doesn't, because that is one thing I know that's not on my card. This year, if I'm successful again, everything goes well, I'm trying a different female with the same male. But I'm going to see if I'd like to get an accurate of post-off shed to when the babies drop, because I don't have that information now. All I know is it's a crazy long gestation period, because I didn't know what the hell she was going to do. At this point, I thought, she was going to keel over and die because she didn't have babies at this point. And then, my wife woke me up and was like, oh, babies. But it was at least, I feel like, 7 months I was waiting on babies.
Yeah, because when were they born? That was was it like early September?
Shit. Early to mid-September, yeah, because they're most of them are like around the 10 meal mark at this point. They're eating like champs. I've been offering food anywhere from, depending on the food size. Well, no, I'd have to look at their thing. At least 7 to 8 meals on the ones that start eating right away. Because I've been offering food like every 4 days, just small meals, trying to get them going, get their metabolism up. And I want to get them stable, and they're doing great. They're absolutely fantastic. I had a couple that I was even confident enough to sell. I sold a couple of Tinley. And one of my best buddies came and grabbed one. It's been like a dream snake of his for a while. But,
hell yeah.
Yeah, dude. They're super easy to get going.
Good.
I'd have to look. I'm curious now. I want to get up.
What's that?
I said I'm curious now how many meals they have in them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I know at least the ones that start eating right off the bat are at least 7 to 8 meals in. Maybe not quite 10, but it could be 10. Yeah.
Wow. So even though you didn't have the exact dates down, do you remember if the female had any meals between like the end of?
Oh, she did. I tried. No, she did not eat at all.
Really?
That's another thing that was concerning me, because she was taking this long to have these babies, and shit. Normally, even with boas, I have stuff that won't eat, but generally, if you keep trying, they'll at least take a small meal here and there. I think I've had one boa that completely refused meals all the way through gestation. Even most of my Burmese, when they're gravid, will eat. This thing, I tried. And so you could tell she wanted to, too, because a few times she would come up. Most of the time, she would just, curl up, hide her head, completely shy away from food. But a couple times, she would come up real slow, look at it like she was showing interest, and then just shy off. But, the whole gestation period, she did not even think about food.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
I was getting concerned there. That was a long time, and she still looked great after having the babies.
Really?
Definitely, some weight loss from prior prior to pregnancy, but she looked good. I was happy with her body condition after she had babies. I was surprised with how well she took it, not eating that long.
So I mean that had to be about 10 months, right, of no food.
No, they would eat when they were paired.
Oh, really? When they were cooled down, you were feeding.
Yeah,
them?
when it didn't drop, when it wasn't like into the low 50s, I would offer food if it was like still
okay.
Peaking around 60 because Paul said they would eat and they had no problems with it.
Wow. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, she stopped eating probably like a month into pairing. But after that, yeah, there was probably around I'd say 8 to 9 months she didn't eat. Yeah. She's back on food though, dude.
Good.
A few days after she didn't. I tried food the next day after she had her babies. She didn't want it. But a couple days after that, I was thawing out rats anyway. Thought I'd give her a go. She took that. And yeah, now she's pounding food again. I just want to put some weight back on her. She's not doing anything this year. I'm giving her the year off. But
sure.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put your other females that are not breeding through this similar cool down just so that?
Yeah, okay. Definitely. Actually, I have all my adult Sanzinia are in that room that I cool down those animals in full time.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just easier that way for me to not have to move them.
Sure.
I'm going to do the same thing with my indigos because, dries need to drop down pretty low to cool as well, and put my, pretty much anything native or needs to get a decent drop, I'm going to put in that room long term. But yeah, my Sanzinia are set up in there long term. So yeah,
nice.
All the adults will be exposed to those temperatures again this year.
Hell yeah. Wow. So would you potentially try to have your male go to 2 different females yet? Or are you still trying to get some more reps under your belt first?
I'm still really not convinced I know what I'm doing with them yet.
Okay, fair.
Everything, if you're trying to breed this species, by all means, take what I'm telling you into mind, but don't count it as, 100% accurate information anyway. I'm just telling you what I experienced and what I've been told by friends, and it worked for me. But I'm convinced any idiot can have dumb luck at least once. I said the same thing when I had Gilas, my first clutch of Gilas. People were like, "Oh, you did it." I was like, "Shut up! I didn't do it yet. If I get them next year, I did it. I figured it out." So this year, just because even if you don't hit them the second year, doesn't mean you're not doing it correctly. Everything sometimes stuff just doesn't breed. But I'm definitely going to give it a go this year, and they'll all be dropped down again. This year I might. He is, because he was a young male when I started pairing him up last year. I'm trying to think what year he is, but he's not old by any means. He's a young male. I got him from Paul. He was a holdback. He was probably about a year old when I got him. My oldest female is from the Dan Millery line, and it was one of his last litters in the States. DM Exotics. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. I'm not good with names. But that female that I had babies with this year is from DM Exotics, one of his last litters. Maybe his last litter he had. So I think that was like 2015, 2016. He's probably like a 2018, 2019. So he's a young male. He did put on a little more size, and he has real good body tone. And if he's still eating, I might try 2 females this year. But I also really just want to focus on one to see if what I am doing is definitely working. If that's the proper way, I still want to make sure I figured it out.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with any of the species that you really need to put them through like a serious cooling period or whatever, I feel like if you get that done, then that's a pretty good sign of things to come. Because if that's their main trigger and you hit it, then I feel like you have the recipe at least to like put yourself in a position to do it again.
I'm going in the right direction at least, and that's the main thing. Now I just gotta like fine tune the details.
Yeah. So once she was out of cooling, what was your like temperature basking protocol with her throughout the warmer months up until she had her litter?
Well, I would offer food anytime I was thawing out medium rats because that's what I have her on. Medium. I don't know, large, medium type. Small, large is big mediums. So I would offer food at at least once a month. She wouldn't take. I started bringing them up late February slowly. They're probably back to normal temps, like full time, snake room temps.
Yeah.
Like mid-May.
Okay.
I do really at least steadily because
Yeah.
like I said, that room's not perfectly insulated. It's just a laundry room and it's connected to that well room. So compared to like the main rooms, like I'm in my rack room right now. There is some cages in here, but next door is the main cage room with like all the 8, 10, 6s, 4s, all that stuff.
Okay.
Then it's there's like a little hallway with a stairwell, and then it goes off to that room in there, and all that separate from the 2 main rooms. So it stays really warm in here. It still may fluctuate a bit in there. So I'd say probably like May, they had steady warmer temperatures that I would consider like snake room temps, maybe even early June. But yeah, I would offer food up all through all that. Just really keep an eye on her. Sanzinia aren't really like heavy heat huggers as a whole, as a species. And that's really what started to make me think that she was gravid. Like I said, I didn't see an ovulation and I didn't write down the shed. So I didn't know really what day to track off of to expect, even with all the info I was given on when to expect babies. So I didn't have a general idea. I thought she was going to go like late August, early September. Well, more so late August from what I thought and when I thought I saw a shed. But yeah, really, she would hug heat, which was really odd for her or the species as a whole. And then she just started to go like the hormonal dark, and that made me think she was gravid. But I would, pretty much just normal care besides making sure she was happy. I didn't do much for humidity, really. No more any misting than I would normally do. Come summertime, I probably miss them like every other week or when I feel like it. I don't miss them a whole lot to begin with. But yeah, really, I mean, while she was gravid, I kept her pretty much just like I keep all the rest of them, even the babies, just regular care. I don't give them quite the highest hot spot to begin with, probably like 86, 85 I aim for as a whole. And I did bump hers up to like 90 just in case. But she didn't stay on it a whole lot, and she would never focus like solely on the hot spot either. She'd either like slunk off into a corner or like try to like hug a wall or like wrap a perimeter type deal. She wouldn't like coil hard right on the hot spot.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I might, if I get another gravid female this year, I might try to drop that down a few degrees. See if I get more of an actual like hug on the hot spot, like you would see like your typical python, or any boa. Boas like to do that coil. Scrubs do too, all that fun stuff. But yeah, she didn't do any of that. She did, go to the heat, which was weird, but she never like really just sat directly on top of the heat like you would expect a gravid female.
Yeah, interesting. Well, I think this next year you'll be able to have your kind of second data point on that to kind of know a little bit more what's going on with it.
Compare. And then I'm hoping at least, because like I said, it really threw me for a loop for a while. I wasn't really sure she was gravid until she started to swell up real big and went hormonal dark. But even the dark thing I wasn't really sold with because she did that last year too. She went darker, but not as dark as she did this year. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
But she didn't look like a gravid animal the prior year. This year she did.
Sure.
She looked like somebody pumped her up with a bike tube. She was so big. That's why I was super excited. They were either going to be big, fat, healthy babies or like just a bigger, healthy litter of babies, or just like monstrosity babies. Or heartbreak and a slug out. But she was way bigger than I expected her to blow up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Very interesting. So the only boas that I've bred have been Corrales boas. Do they have that like weird shit pre-birth?
The stool, the plug, the wax plug thing? Yeah, they do too.
Okay.
And that's another thing I was looking for her, but it was like every day for like 2 months because like I said, I expected her to go like, I don't know, probably like mid-September from the time. But no. But yeah, I was looking for that waxy plug in there almost every day, and I didn't see anything even up to prior to her going. But yeah, I was asking friends who bred them, and they said, yeah, you will, get that plug. But I didn't notice it with her. That's one thing I can almost call when my other bows are going to drop, like just, common bows. Because once you see that, a couple days, you got babies. So I was really, really hunting for that with Sanzinia so I could have an actual time of like, all right, I really need to start paying more attention to this, hoping for babies to pop up.
Yeah.
But yeah, no dice.
Well, hey, it worked out anyway, so doesn't really matter.
Yeah. I don't know where she put it, but yes, I didn't find it, but what I'm told, they do indeed have that, really waxy stool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, shit, man. That was, again, dude, congrats on the litter. That's so cool.
And, big time. Thanks, man. Big time.
Hopefully next year is either one
year.
or two more. So
I'm hoping I get these damn Epidor to go too.
Yeah. Well, the next one I want to
Scrubs.
talk about.
Scrubs broke my heart last year, but yeah.
Oh, really? What happened with the Scrubs?
Nothing. And she looks super promising. You could feel follicles in her, even if like you just pulled her out and she was running through your hand, and then nothing.
Interesting. Did she darken up at all?
Yeah. Not like the Sanzinia did, but definitely darker, but nothing. Nothing drastic.
Okay.
But I was just excited because and they were big follicles. I thought they were eggs at one point.
They are the easiest snakes to palpate. It's great.
Oh yeah,
it makes
There's nothing to them. It's a big snake that's skinny.
Yeah. It makes my life easy because I'm like, I will never need an ultrasound. I'm good.
Yeah. I really don't use mine as much as I thought I would when I bought it. They're not cheap, and
no, they're not.
I wanted one to be like, oh, this will help me know when to pair stuff, when it's gravid, blah blah blah. I did pairing last year. I didn't use it at all. I didn't use it until I wanted to check the Sanzinia. But it's cool to have when you want it.
Sure. Yeah. I've used one in the past, and honestly, being someone who wasn't like formally trained on it, I almost felt like it made me more confused than.
Oh yeah, I was a vet tech for like 6 years, and that's one thing we did do, was a lot of ultrasound.
Well, there you go.
So, yeah. That was easy for me.
Sure.
Learn how to use them in like different wavelengths and all that stuff, frequencies. But yeah, I'm good with it. I'm good with an ultrasound. But yeah, I still never use it.
Yeah. Hey, fair enough. Well, I want to talk about your Venomous collection for a little bit.
All right,
you have quite the eclectic group. What all are you working with Venomous stuff?
Oh man, I'm gonna forget some stuff. My favorite's my King Cobra, absolute, like hands down. It's like my favorite animal I own. Him and my big hypogranite. But yeah, he's my favorite. I have the King. I have West and East African Gaboon Vipers. A load of different tree vipers, squams, Sumatranus, Flavomaculatus, eyelash vipers, Venustus, shrimp trakes. Oh, there's definitely other stuff in there. But yeah, not a bunch of different species of cobras. Some cobras. I really like spitters. I've always had a thing for spitters. I don't know why. I just feel like that's like nature's perfect evolution, not only to bite and kill things, but like be able to take that venom and like blind people. That's pretty cool. To make that leap in evolution is a cool thing. But I work with spitters as well, Indo-Chinese, which are Siamensis, Naya nigrosynca woodeye, Pallida. It's my favorite cobra species, the red spitters.
They're very
monocled because everybody needs monocles, or else what are you doing in life? But I don't know. I love monocles, but it's also like the snake that you see the dumb asshole coming to a show and be like, I got a cobra. That shouldn't have cobras. What else? I got a lot of shit.
The Gilas, I don't know. If
Bushmasters, Gilas. I got the Mangs coming. Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes. I really, really enjoy Eastern diamondback rattlesnakes. That's my favorite
Okay.
rattlesnake, hands down. Maybe my favorite viper.
Yeah, they're cool.
Gilas, yeah, Gilas. I have a whole colony of Gilas. I love Gilas. It's
Okay.
my favorite lizard. It's like a snake with legs. You can't
Really
beat
is,
it.
yeah.
They don't eat bugs. That's the best thing in the world. I hate feeding bugs to anything. I don't want to have to feed bugs. That's stupid.
Yeah.
I like feeding
have
snakes.
I have only snakes right now, and I am very happy with that.
Yeah, dude. My wife has some blue tongue skinks. She likes those. I had a tegu for a long time. He passed last year. So he was like 14, 15.
Okay.
And he had some kind of weird like tumor thing grew on him. Yeah, it sucked. But he was a cool lizard. But yeah, I'm a snake guy at heart. I love Gilas though. I don't know what it is about Gilas. I heard venomous lizard. I was like, what is that? And I started looking into them. They're cool looking. And I really love just like the beaded scales, and their like skull is looks like that. You know, that's not just their skin; they're built like that. Their skull has those beads on it. It's pretty cool. Cool lizard.
Yeah, I feel like the first lizard I would get again if I got another lizard would be Alvarez. I really
yeah, dude. You can't go wrong with any heliderma. It's a cool genus. And I mean, look at them. It's cool. And beanids are cool because they got that prehensile tail too. Well, semi-prehensile tail. They like to climb, but you can't pick a heel up by the tail like you can a beaded. And I mean, it's just a big ass lizard too. You know, most lizards that get that big is like iguanas and monitors and all that stuff, and they're so fast. And you know, when really, I mean, if they want to get up and boogie, they can move kind of fast, but heliderma are just like putsy, you know. In nature, nothing fucks with them. They're like the badass of the desert, you know.
It's more just that side to side.
You know, yeah. They like to they'll flail around, mouth open, but they don't chase much, and nothing really messes with them in the wild. So they're more a laid back, placid lizard.
It's hard to bother a heliderma.
Yeah, I got bit by a Gila. That shit sucks. I don't recommend it. I've never been bit by a venomous snake. This isn't wood, but we're going to call it real knock on wood. I'm hoping to avoid that by all means necessary. Accidents happen. Yeah, I'm not one of them dumbass free handlers. You know, I use tools and I do everything I can to avoid getting bit, but accidents happen. I've been keeping venomous snakes since I was 19.
Okay.
I have a pretty good track record. I started off with just stupid shit though. Like my first snake was a copperhead. My first venomous snake. You know, I didn't know if I got hit by it. I wanted to make sure that one. I love copperheads. They're cool. They're iconic for me. I caught them growing up. But also, if I got hit by a copperhead, there's AV in our local hospitals. So I really wanted to like start off there and work my way up to stuff. But I mean, really, I thought that was a good starting point for me. But yeah, dude, fucking Gila bites suck bad. I've done some pretty dumb shit in my life. I like to get myself in trouble and hurt myself, it seems. Because like I wrecked a motorcycle going like 65, 70 mile an hour. I fell off a roof. I got hit by a car. I've had compound fractures. The Gila bite tops all that shit. Don't recommend it. 0 out of 10. Bad time.
Worse than the 7 mile an hour motorcycle.
Oh yeah, dude. No, I don't really, dude. That was quick. Like the shittiest part about that was just like the recovery. It hurt. But also, I mean, I didn't like go out or anything. I had a helmet on. I was good. You know, I kept the helmet. It's like gone on the right side. It's like my trophy to remember to like always wear a helmet. But dude, really, all in all, the wreck didn't hurt. It was after the wreck. But also, I just adrenaline going. You know, my body like didn't feel shit. But dude, I remember every second of that Gila bite, and it was terrible. I swelled up so bad. My feet were on fire. I felt like there was pins in them. My whole body ached every time my heart beat. Felt like somebody slammed my hand with a hammer. And literally, this lizard was only on there like 15, 20 seconds. The longer they chew, every time they pulse those jaws, they're working venom in you up those little grooves in their teeth, and they got little serrated teeth, so they cut in you real good. And up those grooves comes the venom. But yeah, so it wasn't even that long of an exposure, and I still, dude, it was shitty. I'm skinny, obviously. I'm skinny, dude. I'm like 185 pounds on a good day. If you covered me up with a blanket and my left arm was hanging out, you'd have thought I was like 350. But I had like it wasn't like a little strong bracelet, but you know those little like wristbands they give out. Like I had one of those on, the little silicone buggers, and dude, we had to cut it off within like 5-10 minutes because it wouldn't come over my hand.
That quick?
If I was married, yeah, dude, it was crazy how fast it started to swell up. Like there's somewhere on my old laptop, but we took progression pictures, like with timestamps to watch it, dude. Like the swelling would come up and like drop off to like normal arm. It was pretty wild. And like I wouldn't even do anything stupid with them. I was literally just cleaning cages. Yeah, I was just cleaning cages. I just threw some steaks on the grill. I was like, oh, I'm gonna go clean the heelers real quick. Because I only had 2 at the time.
Okay.
And you know, they were like a year and a half old, something like that. So cleaned the cages and was putting them back. And I put the last one back down. I let go. As soon as I let go, swung around and grabbed me. So I'm a lot more cautious with them now, but they're cute. You know, somebody did die this year or last year or something, apparently. What? Yeah. It was a credible article too, so I believe it. But I don't remember what they said was going on with the guy. It wasn't just from a helibite. There was like some kind of underlying condition going on. I don't know what it was, but yeah, apparently somebody did die from a helibite now. But you know, your average healthy human being isn't going to die from a helibite. It's just, it sucks. It sucks to feel that.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when they're babies, that's when you got to worry about them the most. Like
they're so mean.
I see people fucking with Gilas and beaded lizards and especially when they're babies. I'm like, you're just asking for it because it takes nothing for that thing to go on you real quick. And,
yeah, dude. Yeah, like, dude, I have Gilas like you can just stick your hand in there and they'll crawl up your arm.
Yeah,
like a gecko, dude. They're just badass, you know. But I also have some that never lost that baby puffy, I'm gonna kill you attitude. And yeah, no, dude. They got big jaws, big heads. It's not worth it. That shit hurts. It hurts so bad.
I mean, how long were you symptomatic for?
Dude, the pain was like a good solid 2 days, like just severe pain. I got bit on a Friday night. Like that's why, you know, I was happy. I was like, we're gonna have steaks. It's the weekend, yeah. And then fucked my whole weekend up. So I didn't have to work until Monday. But yeah, dude. I did call off a couple days that week. The pain was a good like 48 hours intense, and then it started to decrease. But the swelling was like 2 weeks. It gradually got better, but
oh my god,
use of my arm was very limited for 2 to 3 weeks. 1 week, I mean, pretty much I couldn't really do much, and I was working as a vet tech at the time, so like I did a lot of lifting dogs, drawing blood, and helping with surgeries and all that kind of shit. So I was like, it didn't work out well. But dude, surprisingly, I had a weird twitch in my hand for like 2 years after that.
Really?
Involuntary, just random. And I didn't even notice it for a while. And then one day, you know, I was hanging out with some buddies, and like he's like, "Well, your hand twitched a couple times." Like, what are you talking about? And I watched it. It did. And you know, that was like, I don't know, a few months after the bite. He said that. You know, way after symptoms were gone, everything was back to normal. I was fine doing everything normally. Yeah, that probably lasted like 2 years. It wasn't severe. It wasn't like anything that impeded my daily habits or anything I do. But, you know, every once in a while, you know, like if you're sleeping in bed, you just get like an involuntary twitch, like you'll kick your legs or something. That was like my hand, but like really slight, like, like either like just a quick twitch, nothing severe. But yeah, I thought that was weird, like to have that lasting effect.
And then just went away.
Yeah, out of nowhere. At least I haven't noticed it. Nobody else has noticed it. But yeah, it was probably like maybe 2 and some change months. But yeah, about 2 years I noticed I had that.
Wow.
Yeah, it just went away.
Yeah, word of caution, any Gila people out there.
Yeah, they're cute, but that sucks, dude. Sucks so bad.
Wow, that's brutal. So, but you have a big group of them now. You said, right?
Yeah. It's like 11 or 12 of them. Yeah.
Okay. And then, did you just breed them for the first time, or have you had repeated success?
Oh no, I bred them a handful of times at this point.
Okay.
What? It was a couple years into this house. I bred them 2 years in a row. They got eggs once after that. Yeah. So nothing prolific, you know. That took me a long. That's another thing. Nobody wants to tell you how to breed Gilas. It's like a trademark secret or something, dude. I talked to Steve. I talked to Steve Angeli a lot, and he told me a lot of stuff too. But like, dude, nobody wants to tell you how to breed Gilas. I don't know if they just want to keep the market up or what, or if like they want to hoard all the baby Gilas because they're fucking cute, dude. I don't know if you ever seen a fresh baby Gila, but like it rivals a baby cobra, and baby cobras are cute. But yeah. Dude, it took me like my first ones I got in I think 2012?
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah, they're like 11, 12 years old at this point. And, you know, they mature really late. Like anywhere from like the 4 to 7 years is what they really consider them to become sexually mature.
Okay.
At least from what I've read and been told. So I started trying them around like 4.5 that time, but I didn't get babies until we bought this house, and we bought this house in 2018. And I think I hatched Gilas the first time in like 2019, maybe 2020. Yeah, 2020. Didn't get any this past year, but I didn't really try much. I also changed up my caging this year. I think that might have kind of like threw him for a loop.
Sure.
But yeah, dude, that was a lot of trial and error and talking to people. And I didn't know if I was getting them cold enough. I didn't know if I was pairing them long enough. I didn't even know what sexes they were for a while, or what I thought a sex was. And then they start fighting. And then I have one female that just beats the living shit out of anything I put to her. And she's my favorite lizard, dude. She's so sweet with people. Like, if you want to hold her, you could. I don't, but you could put her on your chest. You could you can literally just pick her up. That I do. She's cute. I love her. I don't care. Sue me. It's not a cobra. Fuck off. But yeah, no. She's so calm. But any lizard you put to her, even if I put my biggest male in there, dude, she just beats the hell out of him. She's so mean. But she loves people. She's never had any aggression, even from she was a little baby. And it's always been weird. I've always bought them in twos, and one's calm and one's a prick. It's weird. Most of them outgrow the prick stage, but they
sure.
Not all of them.
So are the eggs as tough as their reputation would make them seem?
The only eggs I lost were to mom. Yeah, cause I never knew exactly when to get and when they were going to drop, so I would just check them like pre-work, after work, before bed. If I got bored in the snake room. Taking a little break, so I would always be checking them. But my first 2 years, both years, I lost eggs to mom popping them. I would only get like half the clutch, but everybody says they are really hard to hatch. I didn't lose any eggs during incubation. I did, like, if there was a small hole, I tried. I've saved tapes or eggs with electrical tape before, so I tried that with Gila eggs. Didn't go over well. As soon as the Gila egg gets wet, they just mold. So I'm gonna assume that's what happened with the taped ones, because they did have a little amniotic fluid on it. So I'm gonna assume that's what caused them to mold. But all the other ones that didn't have any holes, I hatched all of them. But I hatch them like I hatch Woolman pythons, and Woolman pythons are another one of those species that if you get the egg wet, like even a drop, it's gonna die and mold over. So I hatch them exactly like that. But everybody tells me, they are crazy hard to hatch. One, it's a really long, versus your average species, is a long incubation period, and with low temps and relatively, humid conditions. So you gotta fight that condensation on tubs, that kind of stuff. But what I did is I incubated them 81. I used sim boxes. Shout out to John. Love you, John. Sim boxes, just the small ones. But I've never weighed vermiculite to water before, but I did for these fuckers. I did
really?
2 to 1, 2 parts vermiculite, 1 part water. So, like, say you did 20 grams of vermiculite, you're going to do 10 grams of water. It's a
Yeah.
good way to measure water, too, by the way. Fucking grams.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, but, yeah. So, I did that. And then I stuck them in a special incubator I use just for those. It's just like a little mini fridge. I built all my incubators. I bought incubators, and I hated all of them. So I just built them all. But 81 degrees, sim box, air hole this whole side, air hole this side. That's the only ventilation. Just one little like fucking 1/8 inch, maybe 3/8. Definitely no, not bigger than a quarter. I don't know. About an 1/8 inch hole on both sides,
Okay.
and then I would stick like a roll of electrical tape under one side of the tub, just so it's like angled, so any condensation would just naturally roll down. And then I burp the eggs like every, I don't know, 2-3 days. Any condensation wipe off the top, and as long as they stayed dry, they were good. Because every one that I got that didn't have a hole in it, my first clutch of Helis though I completely missed entirely. They were like jerky when I found them. I like dried up. Yeah, dude, that was a kick in the balls. Because especially like I said, it was a lot of trial and error. It took me like 4 or 5 years to actually get eggs from a Gila. After trying to breed, and yeah, but all the ones that I got that were viable eggs that I pulled in time, they all hatched. I've always had really good luck hatching eggs though. I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of shitty luck with other stuff, but hatching eggs I've had a lot of luck with.
Okay.
Except one year, I killed about 100 grand in Burm eggs one year because I'm a dumbass and I tried new tubs. But yeah, other than that, I've had a lot of luck. Yeah, dude, that was a hard life lesson. But yeah, no, you live and you learn. That's part of the shit, you know.
Yeah, I guess.
A lot of heartbreak, a lot of high highs, a lot of low lows.
Yeah, for sure. What was the incubation period on the Gila eggs?
From what I've seen, I had the earliest hatch was like 105 days, but I had some go like 120, 122 days. And never has a clutch entirely hatched. Like, it's all been like a week span. Like, this one will hatch, and then a couple days later, this one will hatch. I've also had females like drop an egg, and I'll be like, "Oh shit, egg, pull the egg," because like I said, I've had them pop them, so I pull them as soon as I see them.
Yeah.
And then she'll go, 2-3 days and drop another egg, and then she'll go a couple days and drop an egg. It's weird. And so I thought, that the later eggs would maybe have an issue just because obviously mom thinks she's ready. She's dropping eggs. And, I didn't do anything to interrupt her to take the eggs. She literally dropped an egg and left the box. So I took the egg. I thought there was more in there, and then kept the box in there. Over days, I got like 3 more eggs, 2 to 3 more eggs. But it was just weird that they didn't, snakes as a whole drop them all at once.
Sure.
And I'm not a lizard breeder by any means. As I've never tried to breed monitors or anything like that. It's just halos and skinks. It's the only thing we've ever done lizard-wise. It's geckos, but that doesn't count. That's, the second grader could breed geckos. But yeah, dude. But yeah, as you asked with the incubation period, the earliest I had was like 100. I'm gonna say like 105.
Uh-oh. Hopefully Dillon comes back. Technical difficulties, everyone. We lost you for like 15 seconds there.
Yeah, I know. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I was trying to check my Wi-Fi too, but I usually get pretty good service down here. I don't know.
Well, if it happens again and you can't
get
it back, then just exit out and re-enter the stream, and that should be fine. So anyway.
All right, cool. Yeah, my bad.
No worries. You're all good.
I don't even remember what we're talking about now.
The Hilo stuff, but of the other venomous stuff that you're working with, are there any main projects that you're really focused on with the breeding?
Yeah. I really taken a liking to little tiny arboreal vipers the last, 4 or 5 years. I really like squams. I want to really chase they call them pariahs now, but Trimerosaurus pariah, Sumatranus. Really looking forward to trying to breed those.
Okay.
Just weird shit that you don't see a whole lot.
Yeah.
And the Flavos and Bushmasters. Bushmasters are really high up on my bucket list at this point too.
Yeah.
Especially for like the venomous aspect of things. They're probably my highest goal. That's
Very different.
I feel
than
like at least within reach. What's that?
Yeah. It's a far cry from the little arboreals to a
Oh yeah,
Bushmaster.
yeah. No, it's like the opposite end, dude. It's like the largest viper in the world, and then you got squams. They're like venomous fucking hognose size snakes. But yeah, like I said, that's me, dude. I have a taste for everything. I have like fucking hognose snakes, and then I have anacondas. I like it all, and I can't ever just focus on one thing. But bushies and obtaining mangs, even that was a huge goal for me as well.
Mhm.
And we go. That's happening in Hamburg next weekend.
Hell
Bring
yeah.
them home. But yeah, Bushmasters are high up on the list of want to. The Sumatranus. I really want to try my hand at eyelash vipers just because they're fun. I got some really cool eyelashes too. They're all like Jim Campbell line stuff.
Okay,
From Alex
cool.
England and Jim and all that. They're pretty
Nice.
nice. And then more Gilas. I love Gilas, dude. You can never have enough Gilas in the world.
Yeah.
They're just so cute.
What's your
And the wood
Bushmaster?
eye.
Okay.
I really want to see more wood eye in the States. It's not super common. But
What's your Bushmaster group looking like these days?
I actually lost the male recently. We had a really high temp spike here. So I only had a pair. Right now I'm working with one single female. Yeah, that was a big kick in the balls. We had a real high temp spike come over the summer here, and I had a male start acting weird after that. He did too.
Shit.
So yeah, I'm on the hunt for another male.
Was it a Muda?
Yeah. And it's weird because that's a lot of people tell you like Bushmasters die, or a lot of people kill them. But like I had that animal for I don't know, at least 3.5 years. He was doing great. We just had a really high spike down here, and my AC wasn't working right down here for some reason. But everything else did well, even other species that are touchy the temps like that. But he just didn't bounce back well. So yeah, right now, dude, I only have a lone female, which is terrible. But I'm hunting for another male.
Yeah.
And then I want to get blackheads too. But that's probably not going to happen until like 2025.
Yeah, I mean, are there really even many blackheads around these days? I remember, I feel like I see them periodically, but
Not a whole lot, but you can find them here and there. I almost had a buddy that was trying to like pretty much just send me them. He had a lone male Melanocephala with blackheads, and he had a female mang that he's kind of Blake Wilson. He does all the trips now.
Yeah.
It's his buddy that he does them with. He's from up here.
Okay.
And he's trying to focus more on that with Blake. And there's animals that he doesn't want people to,
Sure.
take care of for him just because of the severity of the animal.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard from him in a while. But I was going to get a blackhead from him just to hold on to and really. And he was like, get a female, do that. We'll go from there, split babies, split money, whatever. But yeah, there's not a whole lot of. You definitely see more Muda than anything. You never see Sinofries.
No.
Really, the only person I've seen with those is Willie Beard at this point. That's at least having success with them. You see some come in from Europe from time to time. Like I've seen Paul Miller with them, but he didn't produce them. But Willie Beard's been doing really well with Bushmasters. But he doesn't really do much public sales. He works with Venom Labs and stuff, so it's hard to get your hands on.
I think Quetzal produced them in Costa Rica a few years ago, but I'm not sure any of them ever actually made
Dude,
it.
Quetzal's like a fucking wizard. He can do anything. So if you can breed Bolins in fucking Costa Rica, I'm impressed. Dude. Yeah, Quetzal's like a legend. And I've never heard a single bad thing about the guy. But I've never got to meet him. I've wanted to.
You got to make
I
it.
hear nothing but good things.
You got to
But
make it
yeah,
down.
he's like, yeah, definitely, dude. I've been wanting to come to Texas, even if it's just for like a show or something. But I have so many buddies down there. I'd love to come visit you, Alex England. Fucking go see Ari and Ryu's place. I want to go check out their zoo, all that fun shit. But dude,
It's
so
badass.
many people and so many like good reptile people that like. There's a lot of cool people I've met in here. There's a lot of shitty people I've met in this industry, but I've definitely taken more from the good. I've made some of my best friends in the world from this. And dude, some of them, like I didn't even meet until like 6-7 years into talking to them, you know, at least meet in person. You know, you can talk to somebody and get to like know them, like you feel like know them your whole life. And then one day you meet up at a show, you know, or something like that. But dude, so many cool people down in Texas. I really need to get down there and hit some shows and come hang out with some people and just like convince the wife that this is where we need to live.
Texas is the state for reptiles, man. It's
got good laws all around. Like your gun laws are good, your animal laws are good, your mammal laws are good. Just but there's a lot of people coming into Texas from outside of Texas that makes me worried. But I'm trying to go to Texas.
To what I've heard, that's kind of slowed down in a pretty major way. And
don't ruin Texas, please. It's my last I'm holding out for Texas, dude.
Well, the thing that's great about Texas, like for me, like I grew up in Chicago, so that's about as like city
fucking night and day,
as you can get. But what's great about Texas is like if you're in Austin or you're in Dallas, like you get that, but then you drive 15 minutes away and you're in Texas.
Yeah, that's real Texas. Big
so
belt buckles and fucking don't play no shit.
You can kind of get all of it in a pretty close proximity, and then you drive out a little more and it's just ranches and farmland, and it's you still get real Texas out there.
That's kind of like here, Pittsburgh and Philly, and I'm from California originally, and sadly I don't take pride in that anymore. I used to love being in California.
We can edit that out later, we don't need that.
But yeah, dude, California is the same way, dude. Like if you go up Northern California, the mountains, like, dude, you'll meet some of the most like country folk you've ever met in your life. Mm-hmm. And then, you come down south and you get Oakland and San Fran and San Diego and LA, which is like the mecca of like just city people. But I imagine Texas is the same way. Big city focal points and then just like nothing in between. We have that here. I mean, it's just fucking small towns, farmland, and mountains up here, dude, and forest. But
that's the only unfortunate part about Central Texas is that it's just you don't have the mountains south in between like Austin and San Antonio, and then going out west you have like hills, and then once you get out kind of closer to me, and then you have real legit mountains. But
right.
Central Texas, we definitely sacrifice mountains, but
I love the mountains. I mean, I pretty much grew up here. I've lived Florida, California here, but I've done the majority of my growing up here. I definitely love the mountains. I miss the beach. I love the beach too, but the older I get, the more I find myself like drawing the mountains and forests and that kind of shit, like away from civilization. Like, dude, I want to like just raise chickens, raise food, live on a farm, and like play with snakes all day. That's like my ideal goal at this point. Anti-civilized, just like, I don't know, start an animal like compound or some shit. Well,
you would be a great addition to Texas, if you made it down.
Dude, that's what I'm saying. Tell my wife that, please. She's gonna watch later. Let's go to Texas. Fuck the snow, dude.
I've only been here 1 year, and I will say the best year of my entire life. Wearing shorts and a t-shirt in January was awesome.
Yeah. See, that would be great. I would love that. I hate coats. I do like hoodies. But dude, fuck snow. I don't want to have to fucking scrape off my windshield. I hate it. The cold sucks. I'm not built for the cold. Look at me. Fucking, there's no insulation here, dude. Rough.
Yeah, no, Texas is the place, man. Texas is the place. So, hell yeah. But so we have kind of touched very briefly a couple times and steered back away from the Epidor topic. I know that's a topic that is a high priority for you. So
Yes.
kind of talk about your Epidor project and kind of where you're at with it all right now.
I've one. I don't know how familiar you are with Epidor, but like the main,
I kept them for years. Yeah, I'm very.
The main issue with them is just worry about them cannibalizing each other.
Yes.
And I slimmed down to one pair now, but it's my most compatible pair that I had. I've had them wrap and bite each other. Luckily, I've always got them apart. My buddy told me a little secret about stuff like that. He did Bismarcks, which also will kill and eat each other. Bismarck ring pythons. He said, have like a bucket of cold water ready when you pair them. If they wrap each other up, just pick them up and drop them in there. So I live by that. It actually works really well. They let go immediately, and it's just a quick shock. So it's not like you're going to drop their core temp drastically or anything.
Sure.
But it's a good method getting apart. But yeah, I'm down to the 2 original imports that I had originally, the first pair of Appos I ever got. And then when I moved, I really slimmed down. When we bought the house, I wanted to focus more on certain shit. And sadly, I went with moving some of my Apidora. I wish I didn't. I'm probably going to add some more in the future. But this pair is super compatible. I've had them together before. I've seen interest in breeding. Never seen any locks. I've seen spurring, that kind of stuff. Never any visual locks that I can confirm. But yeah, dude, that's like tippy top of my goal list at this point is to breed Epidora. That's like Sanzinia, we're super up there. Gilas are super up there. There is some other species I really am chasing right now, but Epidor is like it. Like I said, if I'm lucky with those and I can get those to go, I'm gonna use baby Epidor to get some bolins and then really test my luck. But dude, yeah. Fucking Ryan hit him this year. He did really well with that. I just saw update pictures of a couple of his babies today. Ryan Young, Molecular Reptiles. He does cool shit. But he's another one, dude. He's like a wizard, like Quetzal. If he sets his mind out to do it, he's gonna fucking do it. He's like done Southern White Lips, Apidora, anything and everything under the sun, all the hard shit. Dude,
I mean, when he was on here back like in the spring, I mean, it was almost 3 hours long because just topic of all this cool shit that he bred that no one else
done all the cool shit. He's got all the stories and all the experience. That's the kind of dude that, like, if you sit him down, you don't want to shut up. Well, you want to shut up. You don't want him to shut up. You want to keep picking his brain. Like, tell me everything you know.
But then when he tells you, it's like, I don't know, I just kind of like fed him like this and I put them together and then they bred and I hatched them. I'm like, thank you, Ryan.
Come on, dude. Give me the fucking scoop. That's what you get with like Gilas and Sanzinias. Be like, oh, you cool them down and you put them together and you get babies.
But the thing is that Ryan's actually telling you what he did in that case. He's actually just like, I'm just better at this than you.
It's a natural talent.
Like, I don't know. I just do it. I don't know. Just be better.
He's a fucking wizard, dude.
Yeah,
he's
Ryan's
a wizard. Yeah, I love Ryan.
So, what are your kind of like plans and theories for this year or this coming season with your attempts of breeding the Apidora?
I'm honestly, I'm gonna get them a lot colder than I ever have before. I honestly think that's probably one of my main issues. With them. But I've also heard people not drop down much more than like higher 60s and have success.
Yeah,
but
I think that's a Ryan. I think Ryan's super low.
Yeah. But I'm thinking I'm probably gonna go for like high 50s, but like a solid hot spot always. But yeah, no, I didn't really pick Ryan's head. I didn't try to annoy him much about that, but I really should because time's approaching, and I really do want to be successful with Epidor. I don't know. Epidor is just such a unique species. Like the forward-setting eyes, there's nothing like them. Super weird head scalation, black mouth like a mamba. It's just such a cool snake. I didn't even realize like how hard they were to breed when I got into them. Like I just thought they were cool as shit. I saw one at a show and it sold and I didn't get it, so I started searching around online and somebody was like, "Oh, here's Joe Swatolski." We're not going to even go down that road because that's for a different day. But
That
anyway,
road
I got my
is
first ones. Yeah, dude. No. I got my first Appos from Joe a long time ago. They're big, dude. Like I didn't realize how big they got either when I got them. Like I knew they got bigger,
sure.
But like I didn't realize how quite big how they actually can get. They're just not a super heavy bodied snake, kind of like a scrub,
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna aim to get them a little lower than I have, probably like high 50s, but like a solid hot spot to make sure that they can retreat. But I also think I want to try and make like a more of a box, so they're not always exposed to like extreme ambient temps.
Okay.
Like a bigger hide over a larger section of hotspot to kind of, I don't know, the hotspot to heat the air in that box a little bit, because
Sure.
I am kind of worried if you drop too low, but they're from New Guinea. New Guinea does get cold. Bones are from New Guinea. A bunch of shit from New Guinea does well in cooler temps.
Yeah.
So
They're bulletproof snakes. They really are.
Yeah, they are. Once you get established, them can be a little iffy. But once you get them past that stage, dude, they're so tough. They're tough fucking snakes. I'm not a power feeder. I'd rather wait a year or two extra to feed stuff. But one time, I fed an Apo something that I was going to feed to a berm that was in a cage below it because I got the wrong cage, and I couldn't get the rabbit back off the Apo, and I was worried with what it. But dude, fucking this thing looked like it ate a hippopotamus, just like sitting on her side, like uncomfortable as shit for like a week. And she, like, I was like, she's gonna puke or die. I was like, I fucked up bad. Like, that shouldn't have happened. That's on me. And I was so concerned for the snake. But dude, she just like looked at me all pissed off and rolled on her side for like a week, and she's still hanging out there, being feisty. But yeah, no, they're super tough snakes. I don't think there's much you can do to really, screw them up. But
yeah, the thing that with them that
I was worried about temps.
They're just like, I would say, up there with anacondas for like the strongest snakes in the world.
Oh, dude, yeah, absolutely. Fucking, they get a couple coils around you, dude. You feel it. And anacondas are immensely strong.
My male almost broke my thumb just by having a coil there, and then I had to have someone help me get it off, like an 8-9 foot male. I'm like, he's gonna break my thumb right now. Like,
they're crazy strong, and you don't expect it because like anacondas, you do. They're huge.
Cruising, chilling, like, well, I'm not doing anything.
He didn't even mean it. Yeah. They're that strong without meaning to be. Like, that's the scary part. But you don't see it coming from a snake like that either, because they're not real heavy body snake. For the relative length of the snake, which is long, it's not real girthy. But the power behind it is crazy, man.
If you put that and an olive python grip side by side, it's like 10 times.
Blows it away. You ever get the like false strikes?
I would get like a couple just like in the enclosure, but nothing where like it ever hit me or anything.
I've had them like hit me with like just closed mouth. Like you thought you got bit, but you didn't get bit because they didn't open their mouth. It was like punching with their nose.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen this, but Lisa asked if you've seen the picture from Mark O'Shea of an Epidor that ate a scrub that was longer than it.
I've seen pictures of Appos eating snakes. I don't know if it was particularly Mark's, but I've seen a picture of an Epidor eating a snake that was pretty damn big. I just don't know the reference photo.
Yeah. Well, Lisa, if you have that picture, please send it to me. I'd be very curious to see that.
Likewise.
Yeah, because I've seen pictures of females that have just eaten their male counterpart that was the same size, and it's just like
I've seen a lot of that from friends.
Yeah.
Sad, man. Yeah. I feel like that's one of the main reasons we don't see captive breds, because I feel like they're just not all compatible. Just like they're obviously not like they're a sentient being, but they're not like an intellectual sentient being. But Epidor are definitely smarter than some of the pythons I've worked with. Like, people say retics are all this smart. I think retics are stupid. They bust their face up all the time. They do dumb shit. They're dumb snakes. But don't tell retic people that. They get all mad. But
I will.
Epidor.
Uh-oh. I want to see who else is on his list, but we have more technical difficulties. So, Dillon, you might, if you can hear me, I'm not sure if you can, you might want to try to close out and re-enter. Okay, maybe he heard me. So let's see, because this was getting hot and heavy. Diss and retics. I'm always down to diss and retics. Hopefully Dillon is back any second now. But I mean, for anyone who is still here, thank you for keeping up with this live. We're approaching probably wrapping up, and then they're also the near future. But thank you everyone who's been around.
Hey,
is this any? You back? Can you hear me?
Yep.
So you were making your list of the intelligence snakes, and then immediately cut off.
Oh yeah.
I think the Retic Illuminati is messing with your Wi-Fi signal, but
goddamn Retic Nation. The fucking yeah. Kings, I think, take the cake hands down.
Oh, just for snakes in general.
Yeah, yeah. Period.
Absolutely.
My boy out there, like he watches you across the room.
King Cobra, everything else falls.
Yeah, dude. And indigos, eastern indigos, incredibly intelligent animals, especially for colubrids. A lot of colubrids are stupid and they just run and fly. And I think indigos are super smart. And then Epidor, and scrub pythons. Scrub pythons, if you get one that doesn't try to take your head off, they are rather intelligent snakes. That would be. Yeah, other than that, most of the shit I work with is pretty dumb. Bloods are kind of intelligent too, but they also do a lot of dumb shit.
I feel like they have that that Bitis intelligence of that super ambush ability, just nothing but the eyes move, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that list. I'm trying to think of what else I might. I think mine would be probably King Cobra number 1, probably Scrub Pythons number 2. Although I'm biased, but I also think I'm right.
Yeah. They are smart. I'll give you that, but two's a bit of a stretch.
But I mean, for me, Apodora and Scrubs are kind of neck and neck on the Python. They're very different.
They're very similar snake, but
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Similar but different, but yeah, both intelligent.
Yeah. And like what you said, with a scrub python, if it's not one that is super keyed in on you and you get it past that, there's just you can just look at that snake's like this. They're calculated. They don't overreact really to much of anything. They're confident. They know that they can fuck you up if they need to, and they're just very aware, but at the same time not hyper reactive like a Timor python or a white lip python or anything like that.
My Timors suck. They're not mean. You just can't touch them. As soon as you touch them, they fly off. They're musking everywhere, dude. And I'd rather be bit than musked on 9 times out of 10, given the species. But something like a Timor, it's not that big. As long as it's not like a giant 7-foot adult, I'd rather be bit than musked on. That shit sucks. I hate being musked on. Every time I touch my female, dude, it's all she does. She starts doing the flail, and that tail gets going, and she flings it. I hate it.
I used to keep Timors, and I had a pair for a while that were younger that I kind of worked with on a regular basis that wouldn't do that. But then as soon as life got busier and I didn't have that kind of time to put into them, same thing. They went right to it and just I worked with some bigger Timors that I acquired at a larger size that you literally look at them for 3 seconds and it just oh my gosh, they've done it again. So
luckily most of my scrubs, I only have one scrub anymore that's iffy. One male. But and then a buddy of mine had to get rid of some snakes and he sent me his scrubs when he was be careful, they're touchy, blah blah blah. But dude, they don't even take hits at me. They're as calm as they can be.
Yeah. So what's your scrub group looking like these days?
I have a reverse trio of Sarong Barnecks.
Okay.
It was supposed to be 1.2, and then I put 1.1 together and one of them bit the other one, and I found out that it's 2.0. So I have a reverse trio of sarongs. That's what I thought was going to hit last year. I thought for sure I was going to get eggs from her. Saw lots of breeding, lots of telltale signs that she was going to go. Never got eggs. So yeah, I have the reverse trio sarongs, and then I have a pair of southerns, and one which was sent to me by my buddy because like I don't know, I just really like sarongs and class lepus. Those have always been like, if I could get King Horn Eye in my hands, I would totally do that. But when it comes to scrubs, it's always been Barnecks for me and Moluccans. But my buddy sent me his southerns because he was having some lady problems and they had to split up. He really had to slim down some stuff, and then he had one lone female Tannenbar that I have as well.
Okay. Oh,
nothing crazy, nothing like you and Chris and all you crazy fucking scrub people.
Yeah, I've just a small handful, you know. Just
yeah. I really do enjoy the species, but like until we move, I really need to watch what I'm raising up and what I'm buying because I have to have room for what I am raising up and all this other shit.
I mean,
my house was great when I bought it, like size wise and everything, and I was like so excited, but like I didn't realize how quickly I would outgrow it. Like I need like acres that I can just throw another building up and keep going, you know?
Yeah, I mean, with 400 to 500 snakes, and of those 400 to 500 having berms and green anacondas in the mix, that's going to be a lot. Yeah, you got to, you know.
Yeah, big snakes suck, but I love them. I've always just been infatuated with large snakes. I don't know. Like I said, movie Anaconda got me at a young age. I just like big snakes, man. Burmese pythons, everything except rock pythons, pretty much. Fuck rock pythons. I've never dealt with one that didn't want to kill me. So they just, I don't know, they left a bad taste in my mouth. But everything else, dude, I love them.
That's the only large constrictor species I have right now.
Really?
I have one rock python.
Dude, they all try to kill me. I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it's them. They don't like me. And then I was watching one for a buddy, and he was like, "Oh, she's a sweetheart." That fucking snake hated me. Dude, she would hit the glass when I walked by the cage. She would try to kill me anytime I had to clean her shit. And if she wasn't trying to kill me that day, she would shit and piss all over me. It's just I've never had a good time handling a rock python. I will never own a rock python.
I had a pair a few years ago that I raised up from babies, and I think I sold them when they were about like 6 feet, and I forget which was which. One of them was super chill, the other one wasn't. It just didn't really make sense at the time. But the one I have now is a baby, and she's been all right so far. But I guess, you know, time will tell on that. She's real tiny, so
yeah.
But I don't know. I've always kind of had an interest in rock pythons. What started it for me was some of the old snake bites videos with like that really massive one that Brian had that like he'd put on the floor and he'd like touch it and just like 2 minutes straight, and I'm like, that thing is so fucking cool. But yeah, I mean, they're definitely they're a snake that I feel like probably shouldn't be produced in large numbers by anybody.
Absolutely,
but they're cool enough where we need them around. But
I agree. They're just not my cup of tea. I think they're gorgeous snakes. I love their patterns. I've never had a good time interacting with a rock python. Not a single one. And granted, it's nothing where like I've seen thousands of Burmese pythons, all kind of shit. Nothing near that with rock pythons. But everyone I've ever touched has fucking hated me. So I just avoid them. I don't want to roll the dice. I have enough snakes here that want to kill me all the time, you know?
I think you have enough going on where you don't necessarily need
no, I don't need rock pythons. I mean, my ultimate goal one day would be like a zoo, but like that's a long shot.
Sure.
But at that point, maybe just for like, you know, big snake house, they have the top 5 or some shit. But that as a breeder and a private keeper, no, I have no interest in keeping a rock python. I'm good. I got enough shit that can kill me and wants to now. I don't need a giant fucking snake doing it too.
Dude, I totally get that. Well, we're approaching the 2-hour mark, and I don't want to keep you too late.
Really?
You got to work, and yeah, dude, it flies.
Oh shit! Wow,
That's quick.
Nice.
But dude, we didn't even touch on berms or anacondas. So I think a part 2 is definitely in line here.
I'm game.
Hell yeah! But so I guess before we wrap up, I know you'd mentioned Bolins, you'd mentioned blackhead bushmasters. What are some of the snakes that are like really pulling at you? Like this is what I need to add to round out the collection.
Trimerosaurus McGregory.
Okay.
That I would love to add. Laticinctus. I can't draw on blank.
Well, according to what this guy has recently figured out, Laticinctus might not even exist.
Really? Reclassification?
Well, that Laticinctus might just be a morph of subannulata.
Really?
Patrick had a litter of Laticinctus from 2 Laticinctus phenotypic animals, and only one baby had Laticinctus phenotype, and the rest had subannulata phenotype.
Really?
And
I don't know how I didn't see this.
A person in China, I believe, private keeper, same day as Patrick, had a litter of Laticinctus, and the same thing happened with him too.
No shit.
Because we did Patrick and I a show about this a few weeks ago, a month ago or so. That Laticinctus was described on phenotype alone, so there was never any like genetic work or anything done on them. So, and then based on
well could be,
based on geography and everything, it could just be a color phase of subannulatus, but it doesn't take away from how incredible they are. Laticinctus are fucking crazy. So
yeah. And then you have one that I need to add, bicolor. Need that in my life. I also
I love Bothriacus.
Arifer. Need Arifer. I'm like, I love trim trigs. I would have 100 trim trigs if I could and line the fucking wall with them. So Arifer is very close to that look. I love that look. I love that color. I love the contrast of like that limey green or that deep turquoise blue with that solid clean black. Non-venomous, dude. There's not a whole lot that I really want left that I don't have.
It's a good place to be. It's a good place to be.
I don't know. I've most of the animals I have now, dude, like I never in a million years thought I would have the opportunity to own. So like when I got that chance, if I had the opportunity to live out a dream, I would take it, you know? So, I mean, I'm sure there is a couple non-venomous I would like to have down the road. I just can't think of them right now because most of them are in these rooms. But there's tons of venomous I'd still love, but my wife's not crazy. I told my wife when we had my kid I was going to slim down my venomous collection, and within that year I added like 60. So I went the exact opposite end of the spectrum. So that's one thing I told her, you know, I wasn't going to go much crazier on venomous until we move and I could get, you know, the snakes into a separate part, their own building. Granted, all my venomous, like my door for down here is on like a thumbprint. Only me, my wife, and my employee can access it. The front, the man doors, like code and shit. All the venomous are locked, all that kind of shit, just in case. But still, I don't know. Having a kid really makes you like look at shit different, especially with, you know, animals like that, king cobra, fucking bushmaster, gaboons, all this other shit. Drops you quick. Kids are dumb, you know. No matter how much you teach them, she'll be 3 in January. She knows snakes and shit. She
You're almost
snakes.
there.
Down here and seeing stuff, but
technical difficulties, part 4. Hopefully Dillon pops back up here shortly so we can round this out. But yeah, I've been loving this episode. Oh, you back? All right.
Well, we're back. Yeah, but yeah, kids are dumb. Just long end of the story. Even until we can get them to that point that they understand that animal can kill them, you know. I'm just paranoid. So, Yeah,
get it.
we're definitely going to grow down the road, and I'm going to add, cross some more names off the bucket list. But
Hell yeah.
right now, we're kind of like focusing on what we're doing and trying to make everything better. I'm always trying to, do better husbandry and give my animals a better life too. That's the main focus too.
That's awesome, man. Cool. That's a great way to round this out. So, dude, for anybody who wants to keep up with what you're doing or inquire about animals, where can they find you?
I like talking shit on Facebook. I post on Instagram when I remember that I have it. But it's like I do all kind of shows. That's one way, if you want to take a look at shit. But as soon as I update my morph market, I always have lots of stuff on there. They don't let you do anything venomous, unfortunately. But chances are, if I don't know you and you don't have lots of references from people that I trust, I'm not going to sell you anything venomous anyway. So even berms. I mean, I don't even like selling big snakes to people that can't back up some shit. But yeah,
feel that.
I always any Northeast Coast shows. I'm at Tinley. I'm at Daytona. Yeah, add me on Facebook. I have a business page, Cold Blooded Connection Exotics, Instagram. Yeah, that's about it, really. I'm all over the place.
Sweet. Well, dude, thank you again for your time tonight. This was an awesome episode. Definitely a round 2 is very much needed. But
absolutely, brother. I appreciate it.
Awesome, man. I appreciate it. So I'm going to throw you backstage real quick and close it out. But once again, thank you, man. And I really appreciate this.
Anytime, man. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. All right, guys, that was an awesome episode. I fucking loved every minute of that, and there's definitely a lot more conversation to come. But with all that said, that's going to do it for the episode tonight. If you're watching here on YouTube, give us a subscribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. If you are on the audio streamers like Spotify or Apple, give us a subscribe, a 5-star review, all that good stuff. There's a new podcast every single day of the week here on the Trap Talk Reptile Network. So there's never a shortage of the highest quality audio and video reptile content for your viewing pleasure. But with all of that said, thank you everyone for tuning in, and we will see you back here next Wednesday.